Education remains a hot topic heading into the upcoming election. Hear what District 8 congressional candidates have to say. Plus, we have the latest on Governor Mike Pence's visit to Du Bois County this upcoming Monday. And Bridget Jarboe and Becky Gates continue our ongoing candidates series on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, K-12 education is still a hot topic on the state and national level for both government officials and everyday people. During Tuesday night's congressional forum held here in Jasper, 8th District candidates Larry Bouchon, Tommy Spangler, and Andy Horning talked about many different topics, but education was one of several that drew the most attention. Each candidate pointed to issues within the federal government, specifically with the U.S. Department of Education, as to why the education system has become problematic. All three candidates expressed frustrations with recent efforts at the federal level, such as No Child Left Behind. NCLB was originally passed back in 2001 under the George W. Bush administration. Bouchon says the best way to improve the system is to give more control over education to state and local government.
First of all, we're not doing a good enough job educating our students compared to the rest of the world, and that is because I think that we need more of the education, again, to be as local as it can be and state-based. I do think the federal Department of Education is overreached under the Obama administration, and I think it hasn't helped. In fact, it's made the situation worse.
Meanwhile, Spangler says the federal problems with education are rooted in teachers spending their time teaching for standardized tests rather than teaching the students. He also says fixing education would go a long way towards fixing our national economy and unemployment situation.
Education is the key to really a better economy, okay? From the standpoint that, if we have a better educated worker, if we have a better trained worker, then our economy is going to get better because they're going to get in better and higher paying jobs.
For his part, Horning says neither political party has made any strides in solving educational issues. He says too much government involvement in education is to blame.
We're not competing with other nations, in this, and we used to have the best system in the world. So if we want to change this, you can't do the Democrat-Republican model because they're always going to say more government is the solution, and that's never the solution.
Now, the Obama administration has passed legislation of its own in an attempt to undo NCLB. Some of the recent initiatives aimed at K-12 education include the implementation of Common Core. Now, Common Core was designed as a state-led effort to outline standards for student learning, but to grant flexibility to teachers in how they teach. More than 40 states, including Indiana, implemented the standards. Indiana dropped out of Common Core standards earlier this year. The state is currently in the process of writing its own new standards. An explosion at a residence in Holland sent one person to the hospital and caused some evacuations earlier today. Just after noon today, Holland volunteer firefighters were called to a home at 2nd Avenue and Main Streets on a reported gas line explosion with potential injuries. Holland Assistant Fire Chief John Hemmer says a gas line behind a home along 2nd Avenue exploded. Fire from that explosion then spread to a nearby backhoe, which Hemmer says was completely engulfed when fire crews arrived. Hemmer says work had recently been done in the area where the fire started.
A company that was doing some gas line repair for the gas companies, what I understand at this point, was doing some repairs to the gas line and not sure at this point what caused the initial explosion, but there was an explosion and fire.
Hemmer says gas crews with Community Natural Gas were able to get to the scene very quickly. He says gas was shut off to the whole town at that point. Hemmer says the exact cause of the explosion is undetermined. He says the backhoe operator was taken to Memorial Hospital for treatment of what are believed to be minor injuries. The backhoe was a total loss. Hemmer says the Hummingbird Daycare, along with a block radius of houses in the immediate area, were evacuated. No other injuries or property damage were reported. The Holland Fire Department responded with 4 trucks and 11 men. They were on scene for about an hour. Du Bois County Sheriff's deputies, Indiana State Police, and Du Bois County EMS also assisted. Now, as mentioned, due to the explosion and fire, gas service to Holland residents was disconnected. Town Board President Tom Thacker says workers remained on scene through the afternoon to complete repairs to the gas line. Thacker says repairs were expected to continue even through into this evening. He says gas crews were expected to notify residents when work is complete by going door to door. Thacker says crews would also go around and assist with relighting appliances like water heaters and furnaces once the work is done. More details have been released about Governor Mike Pence's scheduled visit to DuBois County next week. Pence is set to be the featured speaker at a GOP rally in Huntingburg this upcoming Monday, November 3rd. That rally gets underway at 3 o'clock Eastern Time at the Huntingburg Events Center. The rally is sponsored by Mike Pence for Indiana and the DuBois County Republican Party. Now, next week's rally is part of the Road to Victory 2014 statewide bus tour. Pence is leading that tour to campaign for candidates for state, congressional, and General Assembly offices. Pence is scheduled to arrive at 3:25 on Monday afternoon. He'll speak just after 4 p.m. 8th District Congressman Larry Bouchon will give the introduction for Pence. The rally will begin with a band playing at 3 o'clock. Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner welcomes guests at 3:20, and Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz will then lead the Pledge of Allegiance. DuBois County candidates will be introduced just prior to Pence's arrival. GOP candidates will then take their turns speaking. Candidates to speak will include Mark Messmer, Mike Braun, Lloyd Arnold, Aaron Houchin, and Secretary of State Connie Lawson, among others. The rally will conclude at 4:30 p.m. It is open to the public. The latest in a string of vehicle thefts has Jasper Police once again seeking the public's help. The department says a silver 2014 Hyundai Accent passenger car was taken from the Enterprise rent-a-car lot on the city's north side. Police say the vehicle was last seen parked at the Enterprise location during the late evening hours on Monday. Now, the vehicle's license plate reads capital V 561700. Anyone who has any information is asked to call the Jasper Police Department at 482-2255. You can also call the department's anonymous tip line at 481-COPS. This marks the 5th vehicle to be reported stolen in Jasper since late September. Speaking of ongoing investigations, DuBois County Sheriff's deputies are now looking into vandalism that happened at the Jasper Outdoor Recreation Club. Deputies say one or more people burned a picnic table and damaged a fishing boat sometime within the last few days. The department is offering a $200 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of whoever is responsible. Anyone who has any information is asked to call the DuBois County Sheriff's Department at 482-3522. All callers may remain anonymous. Washington High School students were evacuated from school earlier today following a reported bomb threat. School officials evacuated the building at 12:45 this afternoon after the threat came in. Police say parents were contacted within 15 minutes of the evacuation taking place. Now, no further information has been released by authorities to this point. We'll have more details for you when they become available. A consortium aimed at highlighting the progress of Interstate 69 is coming to DuBois County next month. The celebration of innovation for the I-69 Innovation Corridor will be coming to the Huntingburg Events Center on Thursday, November 13th. It will take place from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lieutenant Governor Sue Ellspermann is scheduled to give the opening speech. Now, the consortium is made up of Southwestern Indiana government leaders, representatives for business, healthcare, and education, and various economic development officials. The goal is to build capacity along the new I-69 corridor through southwestern Indiana. They also want to showcase the area as a corridor for innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity. The overall goal of the consortium is to increase the innovation index by 20% by the year 2025. This will be tried through programs falling into a group of initiatives. These include brainpower, branding experiences, civic collaborations, and quality connected places, among others. The consortium is convened by the University of Southern Indiana. It's free and open to the public, though registration is required by Friday, November 7th. Lunch will be provided. For more information, you can contact Michael Tyson at 812-464-1851 or by email at matyson@usi.edu. Now, state officials are still working to figure out how to fund the remainder of the I-69 extension from Evansville to Indianapolis. The highway is open between Evansville and Crane Naval Surface Warfare Center. That took place back in 2012. Work is still ongoing to extend the highway to Bloomington. Preliminary work is also underway to take the highway from Bloomington northward to Martinsville. 5 local counties are among 17 across southern Indiana that will be sharing in $330,000 in funding from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. The funds come from the Division of Forestry's sale of timber from trees that were cut down in state forests. The DNR says half of the money that each county receives will go to rural and volunteer fire departments that maintain a cooperative agreement with the DNR's fire control headquarters. More than 135 departments in all will benefit from this program. Fire departments are encouraged to use the funds to improve their wildland firefighting capability. Monroe County is getting the largest share of the money at nearly $108,000, followed by Brown County at $55,000. Here locally, Du Bois County will be getting just over $8,000, Crawford County is getting just over $9,900, Martin County will get just over $39,500, Perry County just over $4,400, and Pike County will get just over $5,600 in all. The DNR's Division of Forestry allocates 15% of timber sale revenue from state forests to counties where the harvests occur. A southwestern Indiana city councilman has resigned his seat after pleading guilty to obstruction of justice. Oakland City Councilman Darrell Korn entered the plea Wednesday in Gibson Superior Court. He admitted he tried to bribe a policeman $500 back in August to drop minor consumption charges against his grandson. Indiana State Police say the officer refused and reported the incident to his chief. City Attorney Jason Spindler says the 74-year-old Korn resigned his city council seat. It wasn't clear when Korn will be sentenced or the penalties that he might face. Obstruction of justice is a level 6 felony, which is the lowest classification of felony in Indiana. Bloomington police say an officer shot at a gunman who pointed the weapon at him just after robbing a convenience store. Captain Joe Qualters says the gunman fled, and it wasn't immediately known whether he was wounded in the confrontation that took place at about 12:20 this morning. Qualters says the man wasn't found after a search around the Circle K store on the city's east side near the College Mall shopping center. Now, Indiana University issued a campus warning but later put out an all clear, saying there was no immediate danger. Qualters says officers were watching convenience stores after 2 others were robbed last night in Monroe County. An officer spotted a man with his face covered going into the Circle K store and then called for help. No officers or store workers were injured. Finally this evening, Indiana State Police are reminding people to stay safe tomorrow evening on Halloween. Troopers are reminding parents to make sure their children don't go into the homes or cars of people they don't know. They are also asking people to only eat candy that has not been opened and other treats that are in original wrappers. Fruits should be inspected. Halloween costumes should be kept short to prevent any trips and falls. Police also recommend using makeup instead of masks that they say can block your child's vision. Police are encouraging children to trick or treat while it's still light out. Motorists are being advised to drive cautiously tomorrow night and to be on the lookout for trick-or-treaters. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Bridget Jarboe and Becky Gates. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.